Protest groups and activists clashed over the weekend with each other as well as Metropolitan Police, resulting in multiple reports of injuries and dozens of arrests. That pipeline runs from here and ends right here, where it deposits that water into the Willett Branch stream, which feeds into the Potomac River. People have actually stormed the Capitol building. You actually have seen behind me as tear gas has been deployed as police are trying to get the situation under control. The Frederick Fairgrounds has long served as a staging area for concerts and events of all shapes and sizes, but had to adapt due to the pandemic. Officers responded to the area of Mozart Drive for reports of a stabbing. People are lining up with their pets to take photos with Santa Claus. Here at the Baltimore Inner Harbor lies the Fort McHenry National Monument and Historic Shrine, a little slice of Baltimore history. So whether you're physically strolling through the Delaplane or choose to scroll through the art at home, Youth Art Month has something for everyone. So in order to sled properly, they recommend you take some safety precautions. So for instance, I'm going to wear a helmet before I go down this hill. The group is very, very well aware of that. So what they're doing is shifting their focus to the future, to the 2022 election for the election of a new sheriff. As much as I love the Department of Transportation here in Maryland, anytime I'm stuck in a stovemaker waiting for them to come get me is too long. Now, however, Beckwith is still not a free man. Although they overturned his murder conviction, they did not overturn his manslaughter conviction. Earlier, I compiled a list of all the tips and tricks I have for anybody who's looking out to go and drive today. Don't. Now, for this pool testing to work, the state is set to give 50,000 rapid tests to MCPS. Now, police say something like this is definitely not funny. It's actually most likely that the witnesses inside the house didn't know this was a prank, which included some family members. So, Rebecca, please wish me luck. And I always want to say this. Reporting Gaithersburg, Timothy Young, WDVM 25. I'm glad I wore a helmet.
Oh, that was the best live shot I've ever seen. Kudos to Timothy Young.
Over a year ago, a 5-year-old student walked out of this elementary school. Staff called 911, and what happened next was captured on a police officer's body cam.
393. Get back over there, now.
Seen on video, one officer, identified as Kevin Chrismon in court documents, confronted the child and placed them in his police cruiser.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
As they returned to East Silver Spring Elementary, Chrismon and the other officer, identified as Dion Holiday, mocked the child. At one point, they handcuffed him.
See, this is why people need to beat their kids. I'm tired. Your mama let me beat you.
Ain't nobody listening.
The child's mother, Shanta Grant, filed a complaint with Montgomery County Police, who then conducted an internal investigation. Grant also contacted attorneys and has filed a lawsuit against the department, the school system, and the county.
The child was traumatized, and the child is receiving treatment. We want an appropriate and reasonable monetary settlement or judgment or verdict for damages for that trauma.
So this lawsuit also demands that the county implement a certain kind of training for police to make sure that this never happens again to another child. Back to you. Chris Sparks owns Sherlocked In escape games here in downtown Frederick. Now he's hoping to use his puzzle-solving skills in local politics. The 29-year-old Frederick native says he's running for office to help Frederick's growth, wanting to bring his imagination to the position.
As I look at Frederick, there's nobody in leadership who's from our generation. And if we want this city to continue to be the city that it is, our generation has to step up.
I sat down with Sparks to discuss his candidacy. After working over 4 years in the puzzle-solving business, he said working with government would be an easy transition. What drives a man to work from an entertainment business to work for local city government?
So the surprising thing is working at a puzzle-solving entertainment venue and working as a public servant aren't that different. It's still about the relationships you build. It's still about your ability to think on your feet. And most importantly, it's your ability not to lose sight of the biggest picture.
Sparks said his top campaign issues include supporting the arts, affordable housing, and post-pandemic economic recovery.
To me, Frederick is a beautiful place, and this is just one more puzzle to solve. So let's rock and roll.
The Frederick City primaries are September 14th and the general election November 2nd. Reporting in Frederick, Timothy Young, WDVM 25.
And the Earth and Science Space Laboratory in Frederick County, Maryland said goodbye this past week to someone who inspired learning in thousands of children's lives. WDVM's Timothy Young tells us about the life and legacy of Drupal the iguana.
Originally adopted as a rescue in 2010, Drupal the iguana quickly became the staple of anyone's visit to the Earth and Space Science Laboratory. For over 10 years, Drupal served as the unofficial mascot for the center, interacting with as many as 18,000 children every year visiting for field trips.
He really did have an impact. People loved him.
Drupal passed away of natural causes at the age of 14, about 94 in iguana years.
Hey, bud.
Co-directors Lisa Brooke and Adam Farman said Drupal's personality is what set him apart from being just a normal iguana.
So just because you get an iguana doesn't mean you're going to be able to have an iguana that's able to deal with, 30,000 people throughout the course of a year. And that's one of the things that really set him aside from any other animal.
When the ESSL was closed to the public, Drupal stayed active, taking part in virtual get-togethers and even participating in Groundhog Day. Melissa Kneffley has taken her two sons to the ESSL several times over the years and said Drupal has always been a standout attraction.
Like whatever was going on there, it would always be like a highlight kind of just to see him in the hall.
And he was just like always there, and he was everybody's favorite animal.
He made going to the science center a lot more enjoyable. While you were there seeing him, you would see the other exhibits and learn more.
It's evident that throughout the community, Drupal the iguana will be surely missed. Reporting in Frederick, I'm Timothy Young for WDVM 25.
Here he is, Timothy Young. Tim, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Lex. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for... The state of Virginia is investing $203.6 million to expand access to childcare. With COVID restrictions beginning to ease throughout the state, indoor venues like movie theaters and concert halls are reopening. But if you're still hesitant to visit one yourself, WDVM's own Katie Ree is in Frederick, Maryland at a COVID-safe movie experience for all ages. Take a look. And dozens of divers donned bunny suits and went on an underwater Easter egg hunt in the Florida Keys this week. Now, these underwater bunnies dove off a shallow reef in the Keys, according to the Florida Keys Marine Sanctuary. Now, the annual underwater egg hunt also serves as a fundraiser to help local children in need throughout the year. Still to come tonight on WDVM News at 6, Michael Osantro joins us with a check on the forecast. Now, about that last story, I heard a rumor that you were one of these scuba diving rabbits. Do you have an alibi for this past week?
I'm not a scuba diving rabbit, but I do have a bunny suit.
Are you going to tell me that you were going to be wearing a bunny suit later today?
I was going to, but I figured it was frowned upon, so I decided to skip on that.
Makes sense.
Yes.